Hello, good morning and welcome to the TR6CC channel, coming to you from the Fallout Shelter Garage. My name is Glenn, and today I'm going to discuss my recent acquisition of a two-post lift. Yesterday, which happened to be May 19th, I picked up my lift from a local freight transfer company. In order to do this, I needed to rent a truck, so I rented a U-Haul pickup truck along with their 16-foot toy hauler trailer. The bottom line or the bluff, bottom line up front or bluff is that everything went like clockwork. I didn't take a video of loading or the unloading process. There are some already out there. I mean, you can take a look at them. I used a very similar method to unload, which I'll describe here in just a little bit. But the bottom line was that I was able to safely unload everything by myself. I picked up the truck and the trailer at around 7 o'clock in the morning, and I dropped off the truck just a little before noon. I had actually reserved it for 8 hours just in case I needed some additional time. I arrived at the depot there probably around 7:30, 7:45, but I was home at my workshop or the garage here by 9 o'clock in the morning. It took me roughly 30 minutes of travel time there, and then about another 30 minutes to get back. So, a good portion of my time was just spent on the road. The loading of the lift itself was a pretty simple process. The only thing I would comment on is just make sure that they get the load pushed far enough forward in the trailer. But again, the guy who is loading it, a piece of cake, no problems there at all. So, as I mentioned, got here around 9 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock I essentially had everything unloaded from the truck and most of the cleanup done. In real terms, the heaviest two parts of the lift, of course, are the posts themselves, and for that I used a Harbor Freight engine hoist and just one of their 6.5-foot slings. And again, I was able to easily wrap it around there, get the lift, the legs or the posts up high enough to clear the edge, pulled it back with the lift, and then just set it down on the ground. So again, everything went remarkably well there. Just for reference purposes, for anybody out there wondering, can I do this myself? I'm 5'9", and I consider myself to be in good or average health. I mean, I can't bench press, 200 pounds or anything else like that, but I can still lift pretty well and everything else. But I was able to, get this thing unloaded, like I said, in about an hour, and I'm coming to you the next day, and, other than the normal aches and pains that I have just because I'm 64 years old, I feel pretty good this morning. So again, my only comment would be just, be safe, be cautious, and plan it out. And I had it planned out pretty well. I knew what I was getting myself into and everything else. And certainly without the engine hoist and the sling, there is no way I could have done this job. But those two particular items, which I just happened to already have in the garage, made a huge difference. And clearly, if you don't have that available, you'd have to have some other mechanism to get the posts at least out of the truck. And I really don't think having 3 or 4 people manhandle them is the right way to do it. So whether it's a forklift or something else, I'll leave that to your imagination. So with that in mind, now you know that I got the lift, got it unloaded. You might be asking, well, what did you finally decide to go with? So after a lot of research, I decided to go with a Rotary SPOA 10-AV lift. This is a 10,000 pound lift that is made by Rotary. And yeah, this lift is complete overkill for a home workshop. But having said that, I didn't really know what future projects might look like. So I wanted to get a lift that had enough flexibility that I wouldn't be in trouble if I decided that I wanted to lift a Ram 2500, which interestingly enough I used to have that size pickup truck. So again, a 10,000 pound lift gives me a lot of flexibility and will allow me to pretty much lift anything that's in my current fleet or anything that I might think about getting in the future. So got the lift here, inventoried all the parts, and the kit was complete and everything arrived in good condition. I do have one small complaint. The lift doesn't actually come with a set of printed instructions. What you really get is one page, and this is pretty much it. And there's a QWERTY code on it, and you click the QWERTY code and it sends you to the internet. I don't really have any problem using internet instructions, but I am old school and I like paper. I mean, I thought, oh my gosh, it'd be nice to have this paper manifest that you could go and highlight things and everything else. But that's the only observation or complaint, if you will, that I have about the lift so far, is that it just, you know, I would have really liked to have had a paper manual to go along with it. When I was making my selection process, in addition to the fact that this is advertised as an all-vehicle lift, I was also impressed with the accessories that it came with, and I'll kind of show you a picture of that as soon as I'm done just describing it. But you know, it came with the 4 round adapters that you'd normally see, but it also came with 4 I'll call them U-shaped truck adapters that would use to put under a frame rail. And in addition to that, it came with 2 different sizes of extensions for all of this. So the lift came with a lot of accessories in terms of what you would be using underneath the car to get it up that I found was pretty impressive. And I just liked it. I have 4 cars in my fleet. I have a 2005 911 Porsche Carrera. I have the 1972 TR6, which the station is, or the channel is really built around. And then I have 2 Jeeps, a TJ and a JL. So again, this lift, it gave me a lot of flexibility. I have the 2 cars that have relatively low ground clearance and 2 cars that have, you know, relatively high ground clearance, depending on, you know, what your measurements are. So anyway, it was pretty good. This lift gave me everything that I felt that I was going to need in terms of being able to operate and do the kind of projects that I wanted to do in my space. All right, on that note, I'm going to turn the camera around, and then I'm going to ask you to excuse the mess that is the garage right now, but obviously trying to get all of this stuff settled and everything else has been a bit of an adventure. So let's see, as we continue to do this and how graceful I can be at rotating the camera. All right, so there you go. So again, there's the 2 posts. I'll kind of go through the whole thing as we go through. Here are the 4 arms. The shorter arms are for the front. By the way, this is an asymmetrical lift, so as it sits in the workshop, it will be able to sit towards this wall on the workshop. Eventually I'll reposition my workbench or my one of my rollaway cabinets to be here with all the tools. And then of course the front of the car will be pretty much where the Porsche is, but it'll be much further forward when it's up on the lift. So it should allow me a good ability to go from tools to work project and everything else. So again, there are the 4 lifts. You can see these ones have the rotary pads already installed, but again, these things are adjustable, pretty much standard, but actually really nice setup. And then of course they're multi-armed, so that is pretty good there. I would say in unloading, these were probably the most heavy things that I had to unload individually, and I actually carried these from the back of the truck or the trailer and then set them down here. And again, they were a little bit heavy, but again, nothing outside of what I felt comfortable lifting. Here are the 4 what I call the U-shaped pads that are necessary that you can put under the frame rails of trucks, so you get an idea. They also have the ability, the adjustable ability and everything else. And then behind that you can see the 2 sets of different length arms that lift. So again, I guess I should have taken a measurement, but I can do that later. But it's nice, and then theoretically you can stack them and everything else. Sitting here, this is the cross beam that goes between the 2 posts, and there's an actual, this bar will mount through, there's a limit switch that goes here, and then this bar mounts. It's interesting the way that works. I'll probably go into that more in the installation video, but you know, essentially what happens is it sits on the switch. So the switch would be what I would consider normally open. This sits on it, which closes it, and then if a car were to lift and hit the switch, it would then push the bar up, which would then open the switch again. So again, pretty simple setup and everything else. you can see here's the hydraulic cables, and then the cross cables, leveling cables, and then some covers and everything else. There's a picture of the actual limit switch over there. So again, you know, pretty nice setup and everything else. Here are the columns. This column that's laying down here, this is the what I will call power unit side. So it's the column that would actually sit on the ground right about where that circle is. And I've already put the top pieces on them. Haven't actually tightened everything down, but I've got it in place. This other column is the one that is for where the power unit goes. You can see that's where the power unit would go. And then I've also got this top cap on also. This one, I'll likely remove the top cap, if you will, the part that just says Rotary SP on it, because in this particular case, I intend to put the post generally in this area, which means, if you go up here, that it will actually reside underneath the overhang. And the reason that I'm doing that is kind of twofold. I'm trying to get the lift, if you will, as far over in the garage space as I can. So the idea would be, you know, there's the edge of the garage door. As you come in the garage from this direction, you know, the way that the lift and the arms would be is that, you know, as long as you'll have enough room to skirt the side of the garage door there, and then get the vehicle pretty much right in the middle of the lift. You know, I did consider other configurations like moving it from that side over. The problem is that when you start doing that, you end up losing the ability to put anything else in the workspace. So this way, you can see this is the TR6 here, could actually go over a little further. But if this post is sitting, you know, about here, you know, you can see the width of my feet apart, you'll easily be able to get both cars and park them in here, one inside the lift and one just to the side of it. And that gives me the flexibility to continue to have the ability to park both cars in the garage at any given time. I do have some other parking spaces available at the main house, but right now these two cars, you know, they live down here, and I just wanted to make sure that whatever I do, I still have enough room in order to make that happen. So on that note, let me get my camera back around to the other side, make a flip-flop and everything else. So there you go, I'll hold it for just the tail end of this. So having said that, you kind of got an idea of the parts that I got. Everything was here. So the next step is I'm going to actually get the two posts, I'm going to lift them up, hoist them into place, and then I can actually, you've seen how if you go out and look at some other installations, you can see where once you get the posts up, you can actually slide them in place. So my intention is to get them up, slide them around, make sure that the location that I have for the lift makes sense, and if it does, then I'll take the next step and then we'll start the actual installation process. I haven't decided yet whether there is a local company that can come out and finish the installation for me. You know, at this point in time, once the posts are up, I have a hammer drill, and it's just a matter of drilling everything out, and I really don't know, and I mean, there's a lot more involved with it. I'm not trying to minimize, but there's nothing there that scares me or is too earth-shattering. But again, haven't really decided which direction to go there. So once I get them up and see what it looks like and how I'm feeling, I'll go from there. But overall, really happy with it, really happy with the process yesterday of actually getting it to the garage and everything else. So again, look for an installation video or the next step coming up probably in 2 to 3 days. Just depends on how quickly I can get the posts lifted up. And I actually have a game plan for that, and I'll share that in the video. I'm pretty sure that two people, and I've got my son-in-law who's available to me, who clearly is a lot younger and stronger than I am. So there's a couple of different ways that I'm thinking that I can get the posts up without too much difficulty. But nonetheless, as we continue to work through that and we get them back up, we'll get the next video up for you. So anyway, more to come in the next video. Please like, subscribe, comments always welcome. Until next time, cheers.